Ollie, are you generally on time?
I am, well, for stuff like this, yeah. But the meetings with Angus, not really. It's a tricky thing. Angus is always on time. He's always there like an hour early, and I rock out of bed. I'm like, oh, sorry, Angus, give me 10 minutes to go to the toilet and stuff.
Do you say toilet or the loo?
I say toilet sometimes. Oh, we've got people. We've got people in here.
Oh yeah, they're watching. They're watching.
Oh,
They're
that's fine.
here.
Yeah, they're here, just hanging out.
Angus is coming in. Wow, it's a good crowd. I think people can post. Oh, they can do reactions. You see this little heart thing?
Oh, cute. That's nice. I like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Throw your reactions out there, people. Wow, this is neat.
This is very
My mom wants to watch. She's like, Noah, how do I get on Zoom? I'm like, I'll send you the recording, Mom. Don't worry.
That's how you do it. I had to set up a Zoom recording. This is weird for my grandma who's in Pakistan. She absolutely loves watching football or soccer for you guys. So I had to set up one of these fancy cameras, point it at a screen so I could Zoom like Sky Sports via Zoom. Because if you share screen, they have this weird feature that makes everything go blank. Like you can't share screen on Netflix or on any of these streaming apps.
Via Zoom?
Yeah, you like any Zoom or OBS, or I tried like 8 different streaming software. They all just make the screen go blank. I don't know what black magic they're using to make that happen. But I literally had to point a camera at the screen to get around that.
Someone on WhatsApp sent me, the girl I'm seeing sent me a photo, but it was like the one-time view photo. So I had to grab my iPad to take a photo of the photo. I mean,
Nice.
As life goes. So we have people coming in. Daniel Wagner asked if I'm stoned. What is stoned? Ollie, do you know what being stoned is?
I think it means being high on weed.
I am high on Chinese Uwi tea is what I'm high on right now.
That's a nice cup.
Actually, my friend Tynan, who I love. Have you ever chatted with Tynan?
Yeah, he's big into tea.
He got me into it. So I got like my little tea set right here.
I've just got my coffee in my little Harry Potter Le Creuset mug. So that's my jam.
Dude, this is gonna be a good session. It's good to see you, man. I miss you. I really do miss you.
It's been a while. But we're gonna meet up in summer, either in Spain or in London. So we'll make it happen.
Let me put it on my list. So who do we have in the audience? We have Long Nguyen. What up, man? Jason Blake, great to see your name. Who else in the house? Where are you in the world? Tell me your URL. Tell us something about yourselves. And we'll get the show going in maybe 5-ish, let people trickle in and then we'll get the show going. All right, Ali, I'm putting you on my Spain list. Spain to do.
Perfect.
Shout out who you are, shout out anything about it, URLs, anything. So we got Kapil from New Delhi. What up, man? I love India. Dan Kendall, founder of Health Podcast Network. That's cool. We'll definitely be able to talk about that. We are in a treat to have Ali on the show. He's really busy. He's launching his, I think you're having an opening of your course, which is closing tomorrow. So you're busy with that, but I'm glad you're able to take time to come hang out with the AppSumo Plusians.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's going to be fun.
What up, Katie in New York? Cedrus Montegudo from PH, Philippines.
Yeah.
Kamalika.
Dad is from Tunbridge Wells. That's fairly close to where I used to live.
Where's Tunbridge Wells?
Tunbridge Wells. It's in Kent. I think it's in Kent.
Oh, I thought that was part of his name.
Oh, right. Yeah, it could be.
What up, TJ Berkeley, Jessica Murray, St. Louis, Venture Lab, a nonprofit promoting K-12 entrepreneur education. Have you ever been to Italy?
I was in Italy. I was in Italy recently. Went to Rome a few months ago with a girlfriend. Yeah, I want to do another trip to Italy. We had a team trip to Lisbon in Portugal last week, and that was super fun.
Ollie, I'm gonna ask a hot take sensitive question, so hopefully people aren't recording this.
Uh-oh.
Most underrated city or country, most overrated city or country?
Oh, underrated. I think Hoi An in Vietnam is very underrated. My favorite place in the world. It's got like the lanterns, it's got the vibes, it feels like a little village. So good. Overrated. Huh. What's an overrated place? I feel like Paris is a bit overrated. Yeah.
That's a hot take.
I know. Paris is just not that fun. It's kind of cold, kind of grim. And unless you really love art galleries, and I mean, in fairness, I've only ever been during winter. Maybe it's nicer during summer, just like London.
I will say, I think overrated is Rome. I thought Rome was so overrated.
Oh, yeah.
Rome is so overrated, man. It's like all these knickknacks and peddlers. And it was just like, I don't know. I was just like, I wanted to have, I think because the movies, there's such mystique to them. I think underrated is Budapest. think Budapest is one of
I've
these.
not been.
Super cheap. It's got a cool park, got a lot of escape rooms, got good cheap food, really tasty. So we got people in all the world, but everyone is here to talk about how do you create content and content that builds audiences and gets things done, especially if you're a busy person. And I think if anybody to come teach this, we're lucky to have you come here. We have a lot of questions. We're going to do a Q&A. For people that are in the audience, maybe give us a little bit of feedback where you're at in your content creation journey and why it matters to you. And I think we'll help calibrate Ali and his information and the answers he has for you with that. So please post where you're at, and Ali, always chime in.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to share screen real quick to show slides. Nice one. Thank you, Mitchell. Yeah, very, very useful to hear what level of experience you guys have with the content stuff, whether that's a subscriber count or a whatever metric you want to use, just to give me an idea. Because obviously, when it comes to YouTube, for example, the advice that I would give to someone with 10 subscribers is very different to the advice I'd give to someone with 10 million subscribers. I wouldn't give advice to someone with 10 million subscribers, but you kind of know what I mean.
And for the people that don't know Ali out there, I think as Mitchell is taking over and sharing screens whenever that happens, Ali is one of my favorite humans on planet Earth. Like bar none, Ali. I don't know if you can take that compliment, but that is 100%.
That's very kind.
I'm so impressed with your career. I'm so impressed with just you as a human, separate of all the business stuff. I think you're a great person. I think you've always been very kind, very generous. I love seeing just like how you experiment with life, how you try things out, how you talked about the wife stuff back in the day, like I gotta find a wife. And just, I think it's great to be able to experience you in this planet in my lifetime. So I'm glad you're here. I think you're one of the best at creating content. My life has changed. I use Bear app now because of you. And so I think from this thing, everyone's going to get some takeaways 100% to improve their lives in content creation. Thank you for being here.
Hopefully. Yeah. Thank you very much. That's very, very kind of you to say.
And so we have different people coming in. Mitchell, are we sharing a slide? We might have a slide. If not, we're just gonna jump right in. For the people that may not know me, I'm Noah Kagan. I help run AppSumo.com. I also do YouTube. I'm definitely a lot smaller than Ali, and I do it in a different way. But I think we can both have some opinions, and also we'll have a Q&A. So if you have specific questions, you'll be able to see that. They're claiming they're sharing slides right now. Do you see anything?
Nope. Oh, one sec. Cool. It's
okay,
gonna happen soon.
I want everyone to close their eyes and just picture slides. All right, so let's just see some of the people and where they're at while we're bringing this together. John is a one-man team nonprofit. He's so many different avenues to promote. So he's looking about how to promote. Long said, Ali is an amazing human. Thank you for coming to this planet. Mark Goodman is a common thing. I just got into YouTube. I've created channels, right? So it's starting it, but never got it taking off. So Kamalika Potter has got 60,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I've been also trying to get into starting videos. So it seems like we have a pretty array of most people kind of getting started in maybe something with consistency.
Yeah, seems about right. Jessica, 18,000 followers. Anthony just getting started. Helping a friend build from scratch. Awesome.
Oh, we have a slide.
Oh, wow. Hello.
Dude, there you are.
There's a picture of me.
Looking great, man. How's your skincare routine? Most importantly, before you can't have content creation without skincare.
I've got a bunch of family members who have never watched a single video of mine other than a video I did about skincare recently, which went viral. So that was quite nice.
Skincare is one of the most underrated things, I would say, especially for men. I think women already figured it out. All right, so we've already shared where everyone's in the world. We've introduced Ali. He's amazing. 4 million YouTube subscribers. Newsletter's popular. Everything he does is great. Len, you have things that don't work, and maybe we'll talk about some of those too.
Absolutely.
Noah, what's up? Shout out Katie and Mitchell. Let's put your slides up on there. Katie Weeks, she's amazing. Been a part of AppSumo, I think about 2 years. Helps run the Plus community. And a great volleyball player, I must say. Mitchell Cohen, I've worked with this guy now 5 years. He's kind of the Angus of AppSumo. Helped run our charity bike rides, helped do a lot of things at AppSumo, and now he's helping run and grow the Plus community. So grateful for Mitchell. I think he's also living in Argentina. Thank you guys for the slides. So those were slides. Okay. One question, and then we're going to get into the questions for the audience, is which platform do you guys, or what platform are you guys specializing in? And maybe Ali, let's just start with that. If you were to approach creating content and you're busy and you're an entrepreneur and you wanted it for your business or consulting or freelance or agency, how would you think about what platform to use?
Yeah, great question. I'd figure out where is the audience that I'm trying to target. Where are they hanging out? So for example, if I was targeting, I don't know, if I was building a B2C productivity app, those people hang out on YouTube and on TikTok these days. If I was a CEO coach trying to sell services to CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, those people are not hanging out on YouTube or TikTok, they're hanging out on LinkedIn. So it really varies massively. And I think the nice thing about this audience is that it seems like people have pre-existing businesses. I think it's a lot harder if someone's completely starting from scratch. They have no idea what audience they want to target, because then you could do YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok. You could do shorts, you could do all of the things, and you wouldn't exactly know for certain, but it becomes much easier when you understand your target customer avatar.
Well, we'll do a scenario because I think that'd be interesting. Let's say, let's pick, like someone's here, maybe they want to do freelancing, like freelancing design or freelance or like marketing. We have a lot of people at AppSumo that are marketing agencies.
Yep.
Like how, I know you have the coal mine technique, so maybe can you explain that? And how should people think about content ideas? Let's say you want to reach customers that potentially could use your marketing agency.
Yeah. So I think the way I really think about it is kind of zooming out a bit. I'm gonna draw a diagram if you don't mind, if that's okay. I'm gonna do a little one of these.
Oh my God, this is such a flex.
I know, it really is. I think kind of ideas kind of stem from niche. And for me, niche is sort of, this pen is running out, a combination of two things. There's the target and the value. And this is what I always kind of say to my students for YouTube stuff as well, like who is the target and what is the value? So if, for example, I'm a marketing agency owner, like that's kind of meaningless, because I can't just say, as a marketing agency owner, here are the content ideas I need to come up with. I need to figure out who am I targeting and what value am I providing to them. So for example, as a marketing agency owner, I could be targeting other marketing agency owners and teaching them how to grow their business. That would create very different content to, for example, targeting D2C consumer brand managers and trying to teach them how to use TikTok ads to level up their D2C campaigns. Like it really just massively depends on who is the target and what's the value. And once I've nailed that, at that point, I would start thinking, okay, cool. If, for example, I know that's a target and that's a value, then what are all the different content buckets of ideas? What's popular on blogs that are targeting that audience? What do the subreddits that are targeting that audience make content about? What are the other YouTube channels in the space? Let's sort them by most popular views, and let's see what are their videos that have gone viral. Because generally, you know, we call this technique of viral replication. It's kind of funny. Basically, like the easiest way to get content that works is to copy the title and thumbnail of another piece of content that has worked, and then just do it in your own way, so you're not really plagiarizing them. That would be how I'd approach it if we were to zoom out a little.
Can you share what is the coal mine technique specifically for people that don't know?
Yeah, so the coal mine technique is essentially you want to identify sites that are coal mines and you want to try and mine them for gold. So for example, I'll use my own niche as an example, helping people be more productive and build a life that they love. Generally personal development-y type stuff. So for me, the coal mines would be, what are the areas on the internet where I could potentially be digging for gold, essentially. So if I share my screen, I'll show you what some of them are. Let's get a browser window up. Oh gosh.
So by the way, for the people that are watching as he pulls this up, the coal mines technique, his infinite content engine, a lot of these things we're selling for $199 today only. No, I'm just kidding. It's free. It's free, I think, actually. So you guys can grab it as part of the Plus community, totally free. In the Plus community. Ali's hooked us up. So thank you, Ali, for giving that out for free.
Nice. No worries. Yep. All the templates will be linked down below completely for free. So this is a good blog, Barking Up the Wrong Tree by a chap called Eric Barker. And, you know, 6 secrets increasing your attention span, 8 secrets for memory recall, productive people do it every day. This is the most fun way to make your life awesome. This is a really good coal mine because he's got literally thousands and thousands of blog posts, which are all quite good. And they're all very much the sort of content that would vibe with my YouTube channel. Alternatively, if I was looking for another coal mine and I was looking in YouTube directly, I might look for a chap like August Bradley, who has a life design YouTube channel, a little bit different to mine, but it's sort of somewhat adjacent. So this is a coal mine. I can go on August Bradley's channel. I can sort it by most popular views, and I can see, okay, Command Center, Notion database. How the Notion productivity app changes everything. I'm essentially trying to find areas of the internet where my target audience are hanging out and seeing what content they would resonate with. This could be YouTube channels, it could be subreddits, it could be blogs. These days, I personally try and avoid YouTube channels because I don't want my content to feel as if I'm directly copying another YouTuber. But I spend a lot of time, these days we're looking at Psychology Today, we're looking at Harvard Business Review. What are the interesting articles in these different sources that I can essentially arbitrage to create YouTube videos in my own style or whatever your social media content of choice might be?
So someone's out there, I think they're like, oh, that's exciting. And the more you can show this kind of stuff on screen, the better. And the more, we have some of the templates that are already going to be a part of the freebie. So I'm just imagining there's someone here like Mark or Jessica or someone who's in the audience or someone who's watching this later is like, well, okay, cool. I'm on Reddit or I'm on a blog or I'm on Twitter and I found an article, but I'm busy. I've got a family. I've got things going on. I know who my target customer is. I guess the two things I'd want to hear your take on is how do I really create consistency? And is there any frameworks or tools or things that you like to use to approach that? Because I can see a lot of people, including a lot of people, get a video going or like, man, it's a lot of work. So I'm curious how to help make that easier for themselves.
Sure. So I think really the secret to this is to have some sort of system. So I'm just going to build one from scratch and we'll see what happens. So I'm using Notion, but you can kind of use whatever you want. Let's just make a board that keeps track of our video ideas or content ideas just to kind of keep things a little bit more kind of streamlined. Cool. So I've got my board of content ideas, and let's say I just take that video idea that I read on Eric Barker's blog, 6 neuroscience hacks to make yourself to be happier. That's a reasonable video idea for me. Another one might be 6 things the most productive people do each day. Another one might be, I don't know, 9 ways to boost your typing speed. I'm just leaning into listicles because it's easy enough. At this point, there are and again, I'm going to use YouTube as an example because that's the platform I'm most familiar with, but feel free to adopt this to whatever platform you want. We really just need to figure out what is the 80-20? Like, how do we really 80-20 the hell out of this stuff? So how do I put in a small amount of time to get the maximum bang for my buck in terms of content? Now, when it comes to YouTube in particular, that comes from basically title and thumbnail in terms of the packaging of the video. Because obviously, if no one sees the video, if no one clicks on the title and thumbnail, no one's actually going to see the content. So spending a decent chunk of time on the packaging is super helpful. But then when it comes to the content, I think the hook plus the structure is the main thing. So for the hook, it would be the first 30 seconds. And for the structure, it would be the sort of rough 3-part structure of video. And this is how I basically structure my, if I only had half an hour to spend creating a video, I would spend half of it on the title and the thumbnail, the other half on the hook and the structure. And then when I'm filming it, I would just riff off of those things. I don't like word for word scripts. I don't like writing things out because that just takes a lot of time. And so it's really about figuring out for whatever platform you're on, what is the 80-20? What is the 20% of efforts that translates to a disproportionate amount of the results? And in YouTube, it's these 4 things in particular. And happy to go into more detail on those if it's helpful.
How do you pick which content to actually do? Because I'm sure you have a lot of ideas. So how do you prioritize it? And then what's helped you stay consistent? Because I think that's one of the biggest things I've seen about if you're creating content on any platform, it's like, oh, okay, I did 1, I did 2, but oh man, I'm going to give up because I'm not seeing the results right away.
Yeah. So I guess there's 2 things there. So let's start with the consistency question. And I'll just write this there. So just so I think on the consistency front, there's no easy answer to this. Everyone, I think, wants a magic bullet for consistency, but really it's about patience and it's about faith. It's about patience that it takes a long time for this stuff to see results. And it's about faith that if you do the right things and show up consistently, that eventually the results will come. And that's why personally for me, I find that the main strategy for consistency is to set input goals that are within my control. It's not within my control whether I hit 10,000 subscribers. It's not within my control whether I get 1 million views on a video, but it is within my control. Can I show up every week and share something authentically that I feel would add value to my target audience? And if the answer to that is yes, and I can find a way to make that process at least vaguely enjoyable, and just know that I'm going to do it for 2 years, this is the thing I tell my students. If you want to do YouTube, commit to posting a video every single week for 2 years. That's the kind of time horizon you need to basically guarantee that it's going to change your life. The problem is when people do it oh, I'm not seeing any results 2 months later. I'm still terrible at making videos. I've never talked to a camera before in my life, but for some reason, I'm expecting results from day one. That's just completely absurd. It takes 8 years of training in the UK for medicine to get someone even remotely in front of a patient. If you're expecting 6-figure results, 7-figure results in your business, you cannot not put in the work. And yeah, of course, people are busy, but if it was easy, everyone would have 7-figure businesses based on organic content marketing. It's not, but that's particularly exciting because it means there's so much alpha for us lot if you take the content game seriously and you can find a way to systemize it. Just like in your business, if you have a marketing agency, the first time you land a client, you have to put in such a huge amount of work. It's such a heavy lift to get the sale, to get the lead, to convert the lead, to get the sale, and then to onboard them, and then to do the customer delivery, and then make sure they're happy and do all the communication. Such a heavy lift. But as you start doing it more and more, you realize, hang on, let me build systems and processes and tools. Let me do a bit of delegation. Let me get someone to be my closer. Let me get someone to find the clients. You build a system so that you as the business owner, you can kind of step back and just focus on the big picture thing. That's the key to consistency with content as well. Treating it like a business. It's going to start off feeling like a really heavy lift where you're like, oh my God, I'm recording for an hour and I'm getting 10 minutes of content out of it. It's not worth it. It takes too long to edit. But if you push through that pain, just like you did when you were starting your business, and you start building systems and processes and using templates like the ones we're going to give you and hiring people to do the things you don't want to do, that's ultimately the thing that makes it consistent. Because time management only gets you so far. Like, you can't time manage yourself to getting, 2 videos a week out on YouTube while you have a full-time job, while you have a family and kids and a life. That's just not going to happen. You've got to build the systems and tools. You've got to use the knowledge that businesses use to leverage yourself so that you can create content at scale.
To give, we don't have kids in a family yet, and I can only imagine how hard that is to do just by itself. But how are you able to do it? And I think this is a good story about, like, how are you able to do it while you were a full-time doctor, right? Like, that is a very taxing job, and you were still able to create content consistently.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm going to draw a little diagram because...
Dude, I love your drawing. This is a cool angle. Just do this.
So essentially, I randomly met a business coach one day in the hospital. He recognized me and he was like, hey, Ali, I think he was working with GSK, which is some big drug company, to help them level up their business, and I can help you as well. I was like, what the hell is a business coach? Who needs a business coach? But he was offering and he seemed like a nice guy. And so we had a session where he got one of these A3 pads and he just drew some boxes on the page. And he said, okay, I want you to break down your video production process for me and put it into boxes. I was like, all right, cool. So we start out with idea generation. Then we have, I don't know, title and thumbnail. Once we figure that out, then we have sort of writing the video. That's the outline. Then we have filming. Then we have editing. Then we have publish. And then further down the line, as an optional extra, we have repurpose. And then at some point, we look at the analytics. Boom. And then analytics feed into idea generation. So this was broadly the diagram that we drew out. And the thing he asked me to do is to basically write down how much time I spend every week on each of these things. And I can't remember what the numbers were at the time, but I was spending, I don't know, like 80% of my time editing, like, I don't know, 10% filming, 10% writing. I was spending no time on the title and thumbnail. I was just figuring it out as I uploaded the video, and basically 0% of my time in idea generation. I didn't have time to do analytics. And this was all while I was working full time. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm spending 80% of my time editing. Do I need to be the one to edit my own videos? Hell no. So let's delegate the editing. Cool. Now all that time was freed up. So then I was spending 50% of my time writing and 50% of my time filming. That's still quite a lot of time, but the insight then was there's very few of these that actually need large uninterrupted blocks of time. The only thing that needs an uninterrupted block of time is filming, which takes an hour because it's kind of hard filming a video in loads of different sittings. But everything else along the process could be done in 5 to 10 minute blocks here and there. And that was the secret. That was how I managed to create the content while working as a doctor, which was, we all have full-time jobs, but like, a day job when you're an entrepreneur, even when you're an employee, it's not like you're spending 100% of your time working. There's always a little bit of downtime. Even in medicine, which is a pretty high stress profession, you see a patient and then you send them over to the ultrasound department for an emergency ultrasound, and it takes them like 5 minutes to get there because the porter comes in and wheels their bed over and they have the scan and they come back. And in that 5 minutes, you could be sitting there on your phone like everyone else does. Or in my case, you could go on Notion on your computer and just start drafting out your next video. And then you have another 5 minute block here and there where, you're waiting for blood results, or maybe it's a little bit quiet and you've got 3 patients in the waiting room, but there's no rooms ready to see them. And you have to wait 4 minutes for the nurse to clean up one of the rooms so that you can take the patient into that room. That's 4 minutes. That's actually, it's actually doable to script an entire video in 4 minutes if you use bullet points. So what I found was that when it came to idea generation, writing, publishing analytics, like those non-filming bits of content creation, I could do that in tiny blocks of time here and there. And, you know, when I was on the toilet at work, I would draft a video out of Notion because I had the Notion app on my phone. When I was in the car, like driving to and from work, I'd be listening to podcasts and audiobooks. And if I came up with ideas, I would record them in a voice note on my Apple Watch. I'd be like, right, I'm listening to episode 485 of the Tim Ferriss Show. He's interviewing Mr. Money Mustache. I think we've got a sick video idea around getting started with investing where we talk about the FIRE movement. Cool. Now, when I go on my computer, when I'm at home, I've got that idea in already. And I don't like to talk about this too much publicly because people will accuse me of hustle culture and all of that shit. But like making the most of these tiny pockets of time here and there was really the level up that helped me stay consistent in YouTube while having a full-time job.
God, I love you. I wish you were my son. First off, taking one step back, I do think the thing that people miss out on is like, do you enjoy it? And I would assume yes, right?
Yeah, I love it. This is good stuff.
We get to like meet cool people. Like I get to meet people like you and like other things, and I get to make videos, and that's a career. So I do think if it's not coming naturally to you or you're not enjoying it, that's okay. Find the thing you actually naturally really get excited to do for free or that you're going to be doing regardless. I think, and the other thing is there's people like Angus, or on our team, we have Jeremy and others who like being behind the camera, or they like doing the scripting, or they like doing coordination or production or ideas. So find the area that really excites you in content creation or life, and be okay with that. Two things I wanted to follow up on. One, what are some of the inputs you look at that help you stay consistent? And then maybe during the early time, because it does seem like a lot of people are earlier in their content creation, what was maybe one of the lower moments that you experienced?
Oh, good question. Okay, so let's start with that one. The lower moments that I experienced. I think like early on in the journey, it was like it took me 52 videos to get my first 1,000 subscribers. 52 videos, 2 videos a week for 6 months to get 1,000 subscribers. That, wow, by the way, is 3 times faster than the average. The average YouTube channel takes 151 videos to get to 1,000 subscribers, which is just mental, right? Like you wouldn't think that it's that many, but it is that many according to stats from TubeBuddy, who analyze like millions of YouTube channels. Anyway, so in those first 52 videos, where I was still in med school at the time, I was preparing for my final exams, and I was like, you know, had a bunch of random stuff going on. You know, there were moments where I'd be thinking, okay, do I want to make the decision to study harder for this exam, or do I want to make the decision to edit this YouTube video? And I kind of reasoned at the time that, like, you know, I don't think I'm going to get like a top 10%. I'm not going to get a distinction, is what we called it. And so all I need to do is pass, because anything above a pass mark is just wasted effort. And so, you know, I ended up spending about half my time doing YouTube videos, the other half of the time studying for finals, while everyone else in my life was spending 100% of their time studying for finals. Thankfully, I scraped a pass mark by like 2%. And I was like, oh my God, like, thank God for that. And it was always a bit scary, because I was like, I know I'm making a trade-off here. I know I'm not gunning for this like medical profession type thing. I know I'm focusing on the YouTube channel, but it was never really a dead certainty. It was kind of scary, but it was, you know, it was a risk that paid off. And I think for me, all the time I've spent listening to podcasts and reading books and stuff around entrepreneurship, you got to take some risks. And, you know, flunking out of medical school was a risk, but thankfully that didn't happen.
Bam. And then what are some of the inputs? Like, did you target, hey, I want to ask this many, like, I want to do this many videos a week? Like, how, you know.
Absolutely. So my only goal was, I need to make at least 1 video a week. That was it. At least 1 video a week. I did not look at the numbers. I did not care about the views. I did not care about the subscribers. I was just like, at least 1 video a week, and I'm going to do this for 2 years. There were some periods where I didn't manage to do the 1 video a week. And so instead I would do a live stream. I would turn my YouTube app on its side, plop it on, and you can even see it. I think like Valentine's Day 2018 or something was one of those weeks where I just had a lot going on because it was the middle of exams and stuff. And I just did a live stream where I answered questions for half an hour. And that to me counted as that 1 video a week. And I think had I let that slide, had I thought, oh, you know, life is really busy, I'm not going to make the video this week, that is when things start to crumble, because it's too easy to then let the next week slide and the next week slide. Because we're all busy. We all have random shit going on. No one has the time to make YouTube videos consistently. No one has the time to write a book, unless it's literally a full-time job. And even then, there's always other random stuff that comes up. So I found just setting myself that obsessive goal of just 1 video every week was the main thing. And the fact that I didn't have any output metrics that I was looking at meant that I could never feel sad. It's the people like the people I know that are like, I want to hit 1,000 subscribers in the next 6 months, or whatever the number might be. When you set a goal that's outside of your control, it just saps motivation. It's not an intrinsically motivated thing to set a performance-based goal like that. But it is intrinsically motivating to think, you know what, I'm just going to make one video a week, and I'm going to try and make each one maybe just a little bit better than the last. But even then, that's a recipe for burnout. So I didn't even index too hard on that. My only goal was one video every week.
It is funny. I would say over the years, and I'm curious for this for you, for myself with content creation, I've changed. I used to set these very ambitious goals. Like I'm going to get 100,000 subscribers. I'm going to get 500,000. This year, I was like, I want a really small goal.
Yeah.
Like I want a really unambitious goal. And my real goal with YouTube is how can I do this for 10 years?
Nice.
And I think coming back to that question, it's like, well, if I do this, it's not something I want to keep doing. If I do it this way, it's not something I want to keep doing. And that kind of helps motivate me to be like, I don't have to get some crazy 1 million person goal, because that doesn't really motivate me. Like I see that in people's biographies, like, or bios, like I want to help 1 million people. It's like, why not one? And I think when you can come back to these kind of digestible numbers, focus on the inputs and focus on sustainability, it's like, oh, wow, I do want to do this for a long time. And that's ultimately also how I get the best results. Do you have a cool drawing?
I have so I was thinking about this yesterday. So I'm in the process of writing a book about productivity. It's called Feel Good Productivity, but don't tell anyone, that's confidential right now. And I was thinking, because there's all like SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, all that stuff around goal setting. I kind of came up with my own acronym, and I was like, I've been thinking about it for the last 24 hours. Nice, near term, input based.
I love this guy.
Controllable, and easy. I really like nice goals. Near term, in that I don't have to think too far ahead. I'm just thinking one video a week. Input based, it's an input. Controllable, I control making one video a week. Easy, it's kind of easy to make one video a week. It's really hard to make 10 videos a week, or even 3 or even 2, but like one video a week is doable. And if you can set a nice goal, that's like, especially early on in the journey, like, if you're Magnus Carlsen, the world's best chess player, you don't want to set nice goals. Like you probably care about being the best. But for the rest of us that are not trying to be number one, especially when we're early on in the journey, setting a nice goal, lowering the bar, making it easy, making it doable, feeling that glow of motivation, feeling the small successes, because small successes fuel the fire of motivation. That's the thing that gets us going. And once we're there, we can then start making the goal more and more challenging. But until we get there, let's start with a nice goal. Near term, input based, controllable, and easy. Bit of a shoehorn in the acronym, but like, I don't know, I was thinking about that last night, and I thought, ooh, that's kind of nice.
One thing I can encourage any content creator that's out there, especially if you're just getting started, one of the things even for me, and I've been doing content for some time, is just also connecting with the people who are consuming your content. And I think that's a really great motivation for me. Seeing a reply on Twitter or Instagram, specifically a lot on YouTube, I try to reply to every single person, even on Instagram. Like I go to the hidden requests on Instagram and reply to those people, even the spammers. I'm like, thanks for spamming me. But I think that also fuels a lot of motivation, knowing that there's actually a real person. It's not some screen name, or it's like a real person who has a dream and a hope, and you're able to actually help them on their journey. So I would encourage everyone, like, if you got a view, if you got a comment, if you got a message, anything, engage that audience. Ali, for yourself, maybe what I'd be curious is, and I think this is, for a lot of people starting out as they're evolving, how has your ideas and topics evolved, and how has your content creation evolved? And maybe can you show us behind the scenes of how it looks today? Don't do that just yet. Just maybe walk us through both of those pieces, the topics and the creation part.
Yes.
And I would love to see what it looks like today.
Certainly. Let's draw a little thing. So this is how things have evolved over time. Essentially, I was targeting medical applicants in the UK, or applicants broadly. I was making very niche videos teaching people how to get into med school in the UK for specific university: Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, UCL. Those were the only things I was targeting. Very, very, very niche audience. But I had an unfair advantage in that space because I was a medical student at Cambridge, and I'd been running courses teaching people how to get into med school for like 5 years at that point. So I was making videos about what I knew. I wasn't trying to make videos trying to be a general productivity self-help guru, because that wasn't even on the radar. It was literally just, how do I add value to people that I'm comfortable I can add value to? And I noticed we've got a question from Lynetta being like, in the beginning, how do you find your topics? What's the process? For me, the advice I give people is the advice that I followed, which is make sure you can add value to people that you know you can add value to. Amy Porterfield has a concept she calls the 10% edge. Who is the audience that you're just 10% ahead of that you can illuminate the path for. You can be a guide rather than a guru. So I was being a guide for medical students, helping them get into med school. And then they got into med school, and people started asking me for advice on how to study for exams. And I was like, okay, I can do that. So I read a few papers. I'd studied psychology as part of my medical degree, and I started sharing the Gary Vee model of document, don't create. I was documenting the stuff that I was doing to study for my own exams. So again, I don't need to be a guru here. I'm just literally like, hey, here's how I take notes. Here's how I study for this exam. Here's what I discovered about how to build a study timetable. And again, this was quite niche. I think it took me about 80 videos to get 4,000 subscribers, 50 videos to get the first 1,000. And then from that point on, people started asking me questions about productivity. They were like, you're a medical student / doctor, and you managed to make videos and you managed to do other fun stuff on the side, and it seems like you've got a social life. How are you so productive? And I'd never really thought of the word productivity before then. This was around 2019 or something, 2 years into the journey, where I started thinking, maybe I should make videos about productivity. And now if you ask people like Ali Abdaal, what's the one word that comes to mind? The word that word would be productivity. I think it's interesting. It's like Ryan Holiday started out making content from marketing, and then he kind of did some journalism type thing. And then he stumbled on stoicism with the obstacle is the way. And now the one word that Ryan Holiday is known for is stoicism, and he's just doubling down on that. So similarly, I decided I wanted to double down on productivity. I'm trying to go adjacent into tech and into books and just anything associated with helping people be more productive. But that's kind of how things evolved from 2017, 2018, 2019. And we're sort of trying to balance out this like life guru, personal development space kind of moving forward.
And then so I think that's a really great, I wrote what you said, I love it. Document, don't create. Really, if you think about it, some of the most popular books in the world are chefs telling you how they cook their dishes.
Yeah.
Right? It's recipe books and cookbooks. And it's just like, they're showing what's happening in the kitchen. Even at AppSumo, we had a video of me and Andrew Chen talking about early days of AppSumo marketing. And that for, I think in 2012, that was our biggest product of the year.
Yeah. Nice.
And so I love that as a suggestion for people out there. I don't know if people realize how much they already know. And how much people actually could benefit from them sharing that. Can you walk us through the content creation process from like super rough doctor days, and then maybe show a little, I think people get excited to see aspirationally what it can also look like today?
Yeah, sure. So a super rough concept from the doctor days was literally early on, like first 1 year or so, literally flying by the seat of my pants thinking, oh, okay, it's a new week. I need a new video. What's the video going to be this week? Come up with ideas. Okay, cool. Let's make the video, write it, film it, edit it, like trying to do that all while in medical school in a week. Hit upload. As the video is uploading, figuring out the title and the thumbnail, and just being like, all right, cool. Slap some text on the thumbnail using Adobe Spark at the time. It's like a bad version of Canva. Canva is what we use for our thumbnail these days. Upload the video. Let's move on to the next one. That was the very rough process. And then I realized fairly quickly, a few months in, hang on, this is a recipe for burnout. This is not sustainable. I need to systemize the whole thing. And then I read an amazing book called The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, which is, I'm sure some of you guys have read. That book completely changed my life because it introduced me to the idea of systemization and delegation. And I was like, oh, I get it. I need to think of my YouTube channel as a franchise, as the prototype for a franchise. So you know how, like what he says in the book is, you can walk into any McDonald's anywhere in the world and you get an identical experience. The same food, the same experience. They can put any random ass 16-year-old with 0 qualifications into one of those jobs, and the 16-year-old will follow the process and will get the result for the customer. That's amazing. How do you therefore create systems and structures in your own business that make it a theoretical franchise? If I was franchising out my YouTube channel, what is the system that I would follow to franchise out my YouTube channel? And that was when, we came up with that model with this business coach of like the whole, like, okay, cool. There's a process for idea generation. There's a process for writing. There's a process for filming. There's a process for editing. There's a process for publishing, et cetera, et cetera. And initially I was doing all of these things myself. And then very slowly over time, I started delegating small bits of that here and there. So now someone else does the idea generation. Someone else does the research for some of the videos. I still do the writing because I've tried outsourcing it and it's really hard to outsource writing for your own videos. No, I think you do a good job of this, but I'm very curious to hear your process, so we can maybe talk about that. Obviously, I film my own videos, but then someone else edits, someone else publishes, someone else repurposes, someone else looks at the analytics. So the only things that I do are the interesting things, i.e. for me, writing and filming. And I'm just going to show you what this now looks like in terms of what our system is. we have just switched to ClickUp, but previously we were using Notion because we just have a way bigger team now, and ClickUp is just better for this sort of stuff. Where, right, here is the process. Here's how it works. Let's zoom in. So something starts off as an idea. How to build a website 2023, X things I learned watching people die, video, X apps that save me Y hours per day. Just a very, very rough idea, 9 side hustle ideas for students. Then once I think, okay, this is a cool idea, it goes into this column, needs TTH. Now this one is interesting because that means it needs a title and it needs a thumbnail and it needs a hook. TTH, title, thumbnail, hook. And this is where Tintin, my YouTube producer, sits. And he spends all his time in title, thumbnail, hook. So he's looking through these ideas and thinking, all right, Pathless Path book club video. So what he's going to do, okay, this is a bit of a bad example. This is lessons I learned from 8 years in medicine. He's looking at this and he's thinking, okay, what's the title? What's the thumbnail? And what's the hook? And he might be thinking title ideas. I think he uses ChatGPT for some of these. You know what? Let's give this a go. Actually, let's try this differently. I'm just going to, 8 lessons I learned. Can you see my note learned from lessons? Sorry, what I learned from 8 years in medicine. Great. Now I am going to use Notion AI, generate 10 title ideas for a video around the theme of what I learned from 8 years in medicine. Boom. Let's see what it generates. Fantastic. Cool. We've got some title ideas. This is good. So this is the sort of stuff that Tintin does. I mean, I could, what, let's just keep doing this in Notion for now. Should we do that? No, let's move it to ClickUp. Cool. So I've got my title ideas. Let's just copy those. So it's a bit annoying because ClickUp doesn't yet have an AI tool. And then, okay, Tintin is going to say, cool. Yep. Actually, I think that's a really solid idea. Thumbnail. He's going to look on YouTube. So he'll go on YouTube and he'll see, are there any other videos that are along this theme? Or do we have any other ways that we can do the thumbnail? So this is a way that our process has really evolved in that we create the thumbnail and the title before the video. So for example, here is a video that previously was in this column, 8 unusual passive income ideas for 2023. That was an idea I had. I was like, hey, passive income videos do well, as Noah well knows. What if we made them unusual? Okay, let's try that. So then Tintin's got this. He's created the thumbnail using Canva and he's created some title ideas. 8 unique passive income ideas, unusual ideas to make $1,000 per week, unusual $300 per day, et cetera, et cetera. And then he's written 3 different hooks and he's put a star by his favorite one. At this point, we've all heard that selling digital products, starting a YouTube channel, and investing are great ways to make passive income. So in this video, we're going to be talking about 8 unique ways to make passive income in 2023, leveraging new technologies, AI, and growing markets, where I personally think there's some good opportunity to make some money. But let's zoom in, blah, 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 blah. So that's his job, title, thumbnail, hook. Then it goes into an approvals column where I spend some time and I'm looking at, okay, do I like the title? Do I like the thumbnail? And do I like the hook? And then if I do, I say either the team needs to research what's happening in this video, or I need to research and write what's in this video. So the video I filmed this morning was 7 AI tools, or rather 6 AI tools you can use to boost your productivity. I had the titles, I had the hook, and someone on our team did some research. It wasn't very good. The research was a bit basic, so I spent some time writing this video myself. I then filmed the video this morning. So now this actually needs footage uploading. So I've got all the footage on my laptop, on my computer. I'm going to upload it overnight because my internet's really slow. Then we have needs editing and being edited. And you can see we've kind of, this one's a bit rogue because the thumbnail is still a concept. But my evidence-based sleep routine is a video that's currently being edited. We've got a few different thumbnail options. We could use this one, for example, but actually I kind of prefer this one. I like the before and after thing. We've got this one, my personal and business goals for 2023. We've got a few different options for thumbnails. It could be this one, or it could be this one, just me smiling at the camera. Maybe we'll stick some icons on it. That's all being edited. Then it needs edit approval. And so Tintin and Angus, my team members, will approve the edit. Then it gets uploaded, then it gets scheduled, and then it gets published. And then once it's been published, it goes into our repurposing pipeline, and our social media team then takes the footage and they will turn it into like Instagram and Twitter thread and a LinkedIn carousel and an Instagram carousel and a TikTok. And we've got the whole repurposing process as well. Because what we found is that we've put in all the effort to make the video. We might as well chop it up and turn it into a Twitter thread, a LinkedIn thread, a carousel. We might as well make it sweat and repurpose it across all the different social platforms. That is what the 6 years later, the evolution of the content pipeline looks like. with a team of 14 people, 10 of which are basically focused on the content side, where we have a courses business that supports the whole thing. And we have a general manager in Angus so that I don't need to worry about the day-to-day management. Starting off with me as a doctor, trying to hustle to make videos one at a time, to this whole like production empire where now I don't even know what happens on the YouTube channel. I see a video being uploaded and I'm like, damn, that's cool. I watch it. I give feedback to our editors while recording a loom. And it's just great. So I can focus my time on the thing I actually care about, which is drawing diagrams on a page and talking to a camera, which is the thing I'm good at. Everyone else does everything else, which is all the things that I'm bad at.
There's some reactions in there. People are going wild. We have about 14 minutes, so can we do some power questions? I want to do some audience questions. Is that good?
Sure.
What was your first revenue your first year, and what's your most recent revenue that you can
okay, first revenue, first year, so the first 12 months of YouTube channel, probably like $5 because I wasn't monetized until the end. Year 2 revenue, I think, was about $10,000. Year 3, I think, went up to about $250. Year 4 was like 1.2 million. Year 5, I think, was like the most recent year was 4.6 million revenue dollars.
Nice. Power questions that we're going to go to the customer questions. And by the way, there's free templates that Ali is giving away for Plus members exclusively. So it's free. It should be either posted in the link there as well. If you're in the sauce, which is our community for Plus members, you guys can see the recording again. And if you're not part of Plus and you're watching this sometime in the future, check out Plus, AppSumo Plus. As well, go support Ali. I mean, stuff is amazing. I think there's so much to learn from him. Highly recommend. A few power questions, and we're going to go to audience questions. Number 1, what are your favorite new productivity tools?
ChatGPT. ChatGPT is really good. I use it for idea generation and I use it for research. I can't trust its actual material, so I have to fact check everything, but it still speeds up the research time so much when it comes to writing and videos. Any
other software tools, other kind of tools?
I really like otter.ai. Essentially, I've got a widget on my phone. With a single click, I can record any kind of voice note. It automatically uploads to Otter, it automatically transcribes, and it automatically gets sent to my team so that if I have an idea for a social media clip, I literally just hit record and be like, right, got an idea for a social media clip. Just been reading 2 Weeks Notice by Amy Porterfield. She talks about a really interesting concept about blah, 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 blah. And I'll just talk for 2 minutes while I'm walking around. And then one of my social media managers, Becky or Gareth, will turn that into a caption for Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter. And I feel like I've just spoken for 2 minutes and now suddenly there's like some banger content across all the social platforms.
I love that. Top 2 to 3 books you've read in the past 12 months.
Ooh, gosh. The Way of the Superior Man by David Data.
That's a spicy one.
That's a spicy one. I really enjoyed The Pathless Path by Paul Millard, which is all about like finding, leaving the traditional career and coming to a sort of this winding path where you're your own boss and doing your own thing. And what else? There's like so many. Oh my God, I discovered .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. I've been on Russell Brunson's mailing list since the age of 13. But I've literally never read any of his stuff until like 3 months ago, because I thought he was a scammer or something. And then I read .com Secrets and my mind was fucking blown. It was absolutely incredible. And then I read the whole trilogy. I read Traffic Secrets and Expert Secrets and Copywriting Secrets by this other guy. And I was just like, oh my fucking God, this is absolute gold. Because I was really bad at marketing. Like I knew nothing about marketing. I think I've just lucked into a really big organic audience. But now I'm like, shit, I wish I'd known this stuff 10 years ago. The .com Secrets, Russell Brunson.
So wild, because I definitely think the same as you. So that's kind of him and a few of these other people I just stay away from.
Yeah.
What's one thing you took away from it?
Funnels. Just like funnels are a thing. Yeah. Previously we would have like a, landing page to try and sell a $2,000 product just on a landing page. And now I'm like, oh, we should like, it's unusual to just be able to sell a $2,000 product on a landing page. Like normally you have to actually hop on the call with someone, and we just never did any of that. And people where the audience is not very warm or very hot need to kind of know that they're getting value from you. So you need to have a cheaper product initially to get people into that funnel. And just basically funnels and shit blew my mind. Well, you guys are probably familiar with the stuff anyway, but I just knew nothing about marketing prior to like literally 4 months ago. So yeah, it's all new to me.
How have you changed marketing with the content and promoting the business stuff from that?
Yeah, so we taking copywriting a lot more seriously. So actually this latest cohort of our YouTuber Academy, has done $1.7 million in revenue in the last like 30 days since the cart's been open. And that's like twice the revenue we've ever had for any of our previous cohorts. Yes, it's the last one. So there was some element of like urgency and scarcity because it is the last time we're running the live cohort. But also, me and a few members of my team read Copywriting Secrets, and we learned about copywriting, and we applied all those principles to our landing page. And now I think our landing page is absolutely sick. And we've gotten comments from people on Twitter being like, oh my God, how's your sales page so good? And it's because we literally read a book about copywriting and applied the principles from there. We're moving to an evergreen model for our courses because I don't like live cohorts because they're a lot of work, which is why this is the last one. And we're using the whole funnel building approach to basically create an evergreen product for our YouTuber Academy. And then we'll get people into it through like a webinar funnel. And in fact, we've got a webinar coming up like an hour from now. Webinar funnel, challenge funnel, cheap product funnel, like probably book with free shipping, like basically funnels and stuff. And now we're just like, cool, this makes a lot of sense because it's unusual to be able to sell a $2,000 product just off the back of a single landing page.
The what copywriting book did you read? Was it Neville's Copywriting?
Copywriting Secrets by Jim Edwards.
You like it?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I highlighted the shit out of it. It's so good.
What is the latest productivity change you've done for yourself?
Good question. Latest change I've done for myself is to set myself a rule that I have to film something every day, and then I can do whatever else I want. Because fundamentally, filming stuff is what keeps the business running. And I found that my time was being put on random shit that was not filming stuff. So now, first thing I do every morning, even if I faff around for like hours, I'll still film something by lunchtime. And then I feel a weight lifted off me for the rest of the day because I have created something. I have created something that's tangible. It's now with our editors, and now I can do stuff like this for the rest of the day, or do a webinar, or like write my book. But I've done my main thing, which is filming the video, which is kind of my primary job.
How do you tie, and I think we talked about this a little bit, but I think people, if they're an agency or if they have a product, like how do you think people can tie better the business and the content creation?
I think there's two things there. There's number one, figuring out what is the content that is going to drive traffic to the business, but then also figuring out what are the elements from the business that you can apply to the content creation, i.e. how do you systemize and delegate and hire stuff, hire people, and like content creation can be systemized. I think people think of content creation as like a creativity thing. It's not really a creativity thing. It's more like systems and processes and SOPs thing. And actually, there was a sick quote I read. Where did I read this? I read it in a book recently. Can't remember what the book was, but it was basically that. Oh, it was from a great book, by the way. Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. He's like one of the restaurateur behind the top restaurant in the world in like 2016. And it's a book about how they built the top fine dining restaurant in the world and the leadership and management lessons associated with empowering a team and stuff. And he was saying one line that really stuck with me in that book was, creativity is a systematic process. And I always thought creativity was like some mystical thing. I was like, I don't think I'm very creative. It's like, I need creative energy, left brain, bullshit, all of that stuff. But actually, it's a systematic process. It's like that quote from some famous writer that, you know, I only write when inspiration strikes. Luckily, it strikes at 9 a.m. every morning.
That's good.
I found that the more I can systemize my content creation, the less I need to worry about me being a creative person, and the more I can actually just get results for my business.
Dude, that was fire. That was fire. If someone's starting out, who's the first person they should hire?
In the content world, if you're doing video, the first hire needs to be a video editor because that just takes a huge amount of BS off of your plate. The second hire, or the first if you're not doing video, is a kind of right-hand person, someone like a jack of all trades. I guess you would call it an operations manager. We called it head of content. I can actually give you guys a job description for a head of content. That is the person, Angus, if you're still here, can you find a job description for head of content? I think it was aliabdaal.com/join, or someone go on web archive, aliabdaal.com/join. That is the job description that we had for our head of content role. That is, I think, the perfect job description for the first hire that someone should make in the world of content. Or Mitchell, if you can do that. We have just switched away from Ghost to WordPress, so that URL is not working, but you'll have to web archive it to find that job description, but I'm sure someone can do that.
You guys can find it. That would be awesome. I'm going through now some of the audience questions. Do you set long-term goals? Do you have any long-term? No?
Not really. I have long-term kind of direction I'd like to be in. I think about what do I want written on my gravestone. I'd like it to be some combination of good father, good husband, and inspirational teacher. And that insight told me that I really care about teaching more than I care about practicing medicine, which is why I ultimately left medicine, so that I could focus on teaching and teaching at scale and making videos, and that's all fun. Beyond that, health, relationships, work, those are the three main pillars. And as long as I'm taking steps in improvement or progress in each of these while enjoying the journey along the way, that's the only goal that I really have.
What is the voice in your head sound like?
The voice in my head is often quite grateful. Like I was literally journaling about this morning, where like my girlfriend is a doctor, and the doctors in the UK have been on strike in the last 3 days because their wages have dropped compared to inflation, and the government's not giving them money, and now they're trying to go on strike to get more money from the government, and it's freezing outside, and they've been protesting and demonstrating. And I woke up this morning excited to get to my desk and make a video, and then excited to have this conversation with you, and excited to do our webinar later. And I was just like, fuck, I can't believe that this is my life. Where like a couple of years ago, I'd have been on strike trying to campaign for the government to give me an increase in my wages from £14 per hour to £16 per hour, because that's the only way that's how I don't live paycheck to paycheck. Instead, I get to come into my studio in an absolutely sick environment, working with people on my team who I really like, making millions every year. Just like, what the hell? So that's often one of the voices, especially when I talk to my medic friends who are still in medicine, where I just think, oh my God, thank you, internet. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, this online entrepreneurship career, for completely changing my life. But the other side of the voice thing is that how long will this really last? Is there longevity in this career as an internet thought leader, influencer type person? Am I going to be one of those has-beens 5 years from now, 3 years from now, 2 years from now, where my views are going to dwindle and I'm going to start having to do like more and more debased things just to get views? Am I going to become irrelevant, et cetera, et cetera? That's the other side of the coin. And so I try and balance those things out by thinking, you know what? It's not about views. It's not about building a spectacle. It's about building a business. And I want to build a business that is not dependent on me hitting consistent view counts on YouTube. So what are the interesting things I can do? That's why we started the podcast. That's why I'm writing books, because I think books have more longevity than YouTube videos do. All of that kind of stuff keeps me on the sort of thinking about the future. And really, like the way I think about it, there's that book by whoever the guy's called, Finite and Infinite Games. There are some games that are finite games that are played to be won. And there are some games that are infinite games that are played for the intention of continuing to play. And I am currently playing an infinite game. Even if I had 100 million in the bank, if I won the lottery, whatever, I would still basically be doing the same thing that I'm doing now. I'd be making YouTube videos, and I'd be writing books, and I'd be having cool conversations with people on the internet and in person. That's what I would be doing. That's my infinite game. So when you're playing that game, the only thing that it makes sense to optimize for is to continue being able to play the game. So whenever I start thinking like, oh, I go to conferences. I went to a conference in Miami and I met up with people that have 10 million plus $100 million marketing agencies. Neil Patel was there. He was telling me to switch from info products to agency model. I'm like, yeah, he's making 100 million plus doing an agency model. But is that my infinite game? Do I really want to be running an agency? Hell no. I love the idea. I can just sit down, talk to my camera, make content, have conversations with cool people, and write books. And that's a dream. And how do I just keep the dream alive as long as possible without getting derailed by the shiny object of, oh, let's start an agency and make 10 million.
I had a friend recently, that was beautiful. I had a friend recently say two things. He's like, no, you should dwell on the good things more. I think we dwell on the bad, but like the things that are actually going well, are you really dwelling on it? And I was like, I like that. And he kind of has a similar outlook that I come back to, which is like, life is good or life is great, and it actually can get better. And I think sometimes we think, oh, it's getting good and it's got to come down. It's like, no, it actually can get better. And so I love your message of recognizing where you're at, recognize where you come from, enjoying where you're going, and so forth. Ali, I want everyone to go, if they're interested in YouTube, YouTube specifically, they should check out your course. I think you're having a cohort that's ending soon. If not, should they go to your site, Abdaal? Is it aliabdaal.com, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, website or YouTube channel. If you're interested in starting a YouTube channel and growing a YouTube channel, check out my YouTuber Academy. We're in closing enrollment like tomorrow. You can check it out if you want. If not, check out my YouTube channel. There's stuff on there around productivity and business and stuff. But you guys are all crushing it with your own businesses and stuff, so you probably don't need my advice on productivity. But yeah, it's there if you'd like.
A lot of times when I've taken courses, and I'm not saying that they have to take your course, but you're one of the very few people, I would say very few, who I would 100% endorse pretty much anything you put out. Is that if that is something that they want to have inspiration from? And a lot of times I've seen people buy courses, even in our own course, they're like, they just get ideas, they get some accountability, and it helps them in, maybe if it's in YouTube or just other avenues of their life. So yeah, I'm happy to tell people to go get it. I think you're a great YouTuber, great person, excited about all the things you're working on. So yeah, check it out, aliabdaal.com. He's been generous to give out free templates for all the Plus members. So that'll be linked below or linked somewhere, as well as being emailed out. And yeah, check out Ali Abdaal as well on YouTube.
Nice. Thank you so much. That's been wonderful.
11 o'clock, 11:01. Sorry for being late. That's it. We're done.
We're done. Great stuff. Thanks, everyone. Good sesh.
All right, yo, before he set up, can we throw some compliment circle for Ali about what you thought about the show? What do you think about some of the material? What's your takeaway from today? I'd love to see some love for Ali for coming and taking the time as well. Angus, thank you for helping set this up with Mitchell, as well as Katie on the AppSumo team putting this together.
Oh, also a quick thing, if I can just say, if anyone has any questions about anything related to content, you can drop my team an email whenever you want. Even if you're not a student of ours, we literally answer every email. If you email support@aliabdaal.com, that goes into our like little inbox thing, and the team answers loads of people. Like, we get emails every day from random people that are never going to buy from us that are asking questions about YouTube, and we know lots of things about YouTube, so we just answer the questions. So if you have any questions about that, feel free, even if you're not a paying customer.
Where's the email thing?
Support@aliabdaal.com. That's not a public email address. We don't have it written anywhere except in our internal materials, so that hopefully not too many people email us. But you guys are cool, so feel free to email us if you have any questions about anything.
I love that, man. So go to aliabdaal.com right now. Sign up for the newsletter #1, regardless. So Alexander said thank you. Lynetta said thank you. Jason Blake said be the guide, not the guru. Cedar said great show. Islam said great system. Angus, thumbs up. Lynetta had some love. Richard Tubb said, Ali, thanks for being so open and helpful. Jessica, great ideas and feeling inspired. David said, thank you. The recording will be available in the Sauce Plus community. Support at Ali Abdaal if you have any questions. John Wypick said, inspiring, great ideas, new ideas. Tarina said, Boel, really interesting name, Tarina Boel. AppSumo rocks. Yeah, it does. Thank you, Mitchell and Katie, for making this happen as well. Anthony Ross. All right, y'all, let's go enjoy the day as well and take the inspiration and go use it. Like, go make something happen for yourself today.
Nice. Cheers, guys.
And post, by the way, if you guys post content, put your content in the Sauce. If you guys are making some videos, make some tweets, make some LinkedIn posts, whatever that is, post in the Sauce or tweet at Ali or let him know. I think that's kind of a lot of times for creators, they like seeing that people took inspiration and action.
Nice.
All right. Ali Abdaal. Have an amazing day.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.